On today's episode, we are going to talk with Micah McFarlane of Revel Spirits. Revel's not exactly tequila, not exactly mezcal. We're going to figure out exactly what this is. Micah also has a really cool background producing a lot of major artists that you probably know and have heard before. So we're going to deep dive into exactly what Revel Spirits is and talk about his background and some of the things that he's been up to and how he created this really unique brand. Stay tuned. All right. What's up, buddy? Arte Agave podcast. Micah, it's good to see you, my friend. How's everything going?
Oh, Walter, it's great to see you too. Things are going good, in the whole Revel, the Avila movement that we are charging ahead, creating this category or helping create this category and getting people to know about it. Just, always talking about, basically my beautiful, not me, my per se, but our beautiful farmers and distiller in Morelos, Mexico. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk about first because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it's not exactly tequila, it's not exactly mezcal, it's an agave spirit, right? I mean, so maybe just tell everyone a little bit about what exactly that is.
Okay, so it's an agave spirit, but people need to know that all agave is an agave spirit. I mean,
Correct.
all agave spirits are a mezcal.
Mm.
Tequila is one of those agave spirits, and
Yep.
it was just first to the market, first to the general public. It is the alpha of agave spirits, and then the next one is people know tequila has to be made out of the Blue Weber agave only, and then you have mezcal, but everything really is a mezcal, but
Yep.
it's been put down to get to 9 states, Oaxaca, being the main one where mezcal comes from, but there's 9 other states that are designated mezcal states. And then you have Bacanora, which is from mainly Sonora, Mexico, and you have what's the other one called Sotol, which comes out of the desert spoon plant, and that's in like Chihuahua, Durango, and all this other area. And sometimes you can see it in Texas and stuff. And and then what this is this is the second smallest state in Mexico, called Morelos,
Mm.
and it's 100 or about 95 miles south of Mexico City. And right behind it is or right near it is an active volcano called El Popo. There's a whole other way of saying it, but the short way and the English way, but for me, is El Popo,
Mm.
and that's that's our second Avila with the
Okay.
name El Popo coming, and so this was an area that was really like rich with soil and high alkaline and natural aquifers and everything. And there was a group of farmers and distillers there that were making their own product. And Hector Ruiz is a friend of mine in Minneapolis, and this is his family's.
Mm.
And he brought me down there. I was just brought in because I was looking for a tequila,
Right.
and so I was brought in there, and so that's where the whole Avila comes from. It's this group of farmers and distillers that making their own product. They're not designated a tequila. They're not designated a mezcal or bacanora or any of those. So they decided, that to come together and go, okay, we're going to call our area Avila, and it's after Noe Avila.
Mm.
He is the master distiller of Revel, actually.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that's super interesting. And I was trying to figure out what exactly, it was. So it's basically, like you said, it's an all their agave spirits, but it just, there's certain rules to the other ones, where they're grown or region, things of that nature. So it's kind of like whiskey where there's like, well, there's bourbon, there's Tennessee whiskey, there's Scotch whiskey, there's this
Right.
whiskey, yeah. Okay.
Or another good one is champagne.
Mhm.
and sparkling wine. You know,
Right.
it
Yep.
has to be from Champagne to be
Yep.
called, champagne. So what we're saying, instead of, people go, oh, you're basically a tequila, or you're basically a mezcal. No, this is an
Yeah.
Avila. You have to, in order for it to be an Avila, it has to be from Morelos.
Mm.
Can't be from anywhere else in the world
Yeah.
except for Morelos. And
That
these guys,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
I get on my
that's
soapbox,
no, I do.
Yes.
I love it. And it's good to know, and I'd love to hear what has been the consumer feedback. Are people getting it? Are they confused? Is there pushback because they're like, well, you're not tequila? Because I remember when like Prosecco, or not even Prosecco, like sparkling white from California came out.
Oh
People were like,
yeah.
that's not champagne, and now everybody drinks it. No one even
Right.
cares.
Right.
So what's been like the consumer feedback for you guys so far?
Well, the consumer feedback is once, because, we'll go out and say that, we make the best, or my farmers and distillers make the best agave spirit on the planet.
Yeah.
And if I can get liquids to their lips, they're not going to go back and drink all this other stuff anymore.
Hmm.
And so my thing is the consumer feedback, or some of the pushback in the beginning was that, oh, you're not a tequila, or you're not a mezcal. Where do I put you on the shelf, especially in the stores, and all these things. So I'm probably going to end up segueing into another point here, but you know that that pushback is the certain thing that I said, okay, you're not going to put me here, you're not going to put me over here. And then for the last 8 9 years, especially living in California, where the word agave spirit, you're seeing on menus, it says, agave or agave, instead of just being tequila and mezcal. So, because they're featuring Sotol and these other ones here, So that language is actually, and we're pushing it, and then we're talking about it. And as we talk, we say agave spirits, And so the goal for me now is to tell every retailer that when you walk into a place and it says uh, a liquor store says, okay, you got gin, rum, whiskey, and vodka, then it says tequila.
Yep.
That's got to change.
Right.
It
Yeah.
needs to change to agave spirits,
Yep.
and with that change brings up Bacanara and Sotol along with Avila and
Yeah.
other agave spirits that are not tequila or mezcal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives everybody a real variety of what's out there and different methods, different terroir. I mean, the soil is everything in this.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because you're right. They're just throwing in certain liquors they don't know, so they're just
You
saying
don't know.
it's all tequila. So just throw it all in there. Um,
And nothing against tequila. I mean, I love tequila,
yep.
and I love mezcal. I mean, there's some mezcals that are out there that are just blow away. Along with there's some tequilas out there that are just magnificent. So it's not us against them or anything. It's that Avila, Bacanar, and Soltol just want a seat at the table. That's all.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's all. And there,
That,
there's plenty of room. The
yeah.
Australians are coming now.
I
Yeah.
I hear. Well, I mean, there's such a agave shortage
Yeah.
and people. It's funny because I've been in the industry so long. I was a bartender for 20 years in New York,
Right.
and anytime like these new categories come out, and you always have these people that just roll their eyes and they're like, oh, now it's Australia doing it. But you're like, what does it matter? I mean, I don't, not to put down tequila or mezcal or Mexico or anything like that, but it's like if it's something that's made in a great way that tastes really good, it's like,
Yeah.
like California Chardonnay. I mean, I'm sure everyone in the beginning in the 80s were like, oh God, but
Right.
now
Exactly.
it's beautiful and we love it. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
No, I just think that it's there's room to grow. I mean, there's in the United States, there's also people are starting to grow agave too. The
mm,
Blue Weber and stuff. And there's I don't know, I can't recite the names of them, but there's a couple of them that are making really good product right here
Yeah.
in the U.S.
Right.
And you think about the longitude and latitude, of Australia, where Mexico sits here, Australia sits here. I mean, it's real. The climate is very similar,
Right.
and
Right.
so I was just reading, watching a video of the whole Australian thing, and they're very serious. It's gonna take them 20 or 30 years to be major players,
Yep.
but they're coming.
Yeah.
There's no denying them. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. They have the space.
they have the space. And what they could do is put people to work. And that's everybody's looking for jobs.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of work and jobs, like, so we talked about the company, but how did this company start, and why did you not go into like a tequila or mezcal? Were you just a tequila fan or an agave fan, and you're like, I want to start a company? Or tell me, people try to approach me all the time, like, you should start a brand. I'm like, F that. I am not, no way. I'll leave that up to somebody else. So I know you're very entrepreneurial minded.
Right.
But what was the basis? How did this company start? Kind of start from the beginning for me.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, that's really. I'm gonna try to do a short version.
Okay.
I'm gonna. One day I met a guy in a bar. Because I walked into.
This sounds like a joke. This is
Oh no, it does. I met a guy. And I walked into Loteria on Sunset, I think it is, or on Hollywood Boulevard. I don't know. And I was meeting a friend from Minnesota, and I was early. I think back then I was touring with. I think I was touring with Dwight Yoakam and Michael McDonald. Those were my clients at that time.
cool.
And Bob Newhart is also my client. So.
Jeez.
But I was home from a tour or whatever, and I met my friend Kim, and she's another Minnesotan. So we met because I lived in Echo Park and she lived on the west side. So this was a happy medium. And basically, I walk in, I'm early, I'm waiting for her. I walk up to the bar and go, make me a Patron margarita. And then the guy sitting next to me goes, "Why'd you order that?" So, I don't know. Patron's the best, right? And he goes, "No, can I buy you a shot?" Dude, I'm not going to turn down a free shot. Sure. And so we proceeded to talk. And what happened is that, he goes, "How long have you been in California?" And I said, "Well, I've been here for about 10 years. And I go, "I'm from Minnesota." He goes, "Oh, I'm from Minnesota." And I said, "Oh, I says, yeah, I'm from Minneapolis. And I used to manage this band there called Ipso Facto." And he goes, "Oh, they played at my junior high school in Duluth." And I go, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Where do you live now?" I said, "I live in Echo Park." He goes, "I live in Echo Park." I
Oh,
said,
wow.
"Really?" I live on Angelino Heights. And he goes, "I do too." And I said, "Well, how far are you from the fire station?" And he goes, I'm 5 houses down on the left." And I said, "Oh, I'm on Edgeware, 7 houses up on the right." And
Jeez.
so we were right there. And then Kim walks in, and I said, "Well, you're from Minnesota. Tomorrow there's a bunch of Minnesotans coming over to my house to watch the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints game." It's where Brett Favre threw across his body and we lost. I'm a huge Vikings fan, right? So anyway, this guy comes over, and there's all these different, like agents, and my circle of friends were in the entertainment business. And that is also when the time that Sammy Hagar found, he sold Cabo Wabo for 100,000
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And then so uh, he just came about, and he saw that I was in the entertainment business, and and wanted to meet people in the entertainment business. Oops, somebody's at the door.
So we had to take a little pause there during that story, because as a business owner, as a brand owner, when you get a knock at the door, it's a delivery, but it's not just a delivery; it's pallets of stuff.
Now,
So, Micah, what happened, man? Why did we take that break?
okay, we took this break because I got a knock at the door from FedEx, and there was 2 or 3 pallets of boxes that are supposed to be landing at Griffel Distillery in um, Petaluma, California. And what we're doing up there is we are making RTDs, ready to drink.
Cool.
Um, and so we have a new, and the part of this whole educational thing about Revel and Avila and everything is the RTD is a way that we could use it for marketing, but we actually really created a really great product that everybody's starting to rave about it. And this is called the Revel Avila Spritz.
Oh, dope. That's a cool looking can, man.
Yeah. So
So what's in
this
that?
one is watermelon, cucumber, cilantro.
Nice.
Okay. And
Nice.
then the next is this is mango Fresno chilies.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other one is uh, guava, coconut, and kaffir limes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then the one I don't have here, there's one more, which is a rosemary grapefruit. You
Ooh,
know,
nice.
which
Good flavor.
is yeah, no, that's our flavor combinations were so amazing. It, my general manager and Justin Hartley, the guy from This Is Us, who's my partner, they took 7, 8, 9 months putting all this together. They came up with like 40 or 50 flavor combinations, and then we drove the flavor house like crazy, trying to get the right combinations. And they did their own set of focus groups and all this stuff. And there was just meticulous amounts of R&D. And then
Mm,
when it came to designing the can and everything, we wanted it to stay on brand with Revel because it's made out of Revel Avila.
yep.
So one of the things that we're doing that, like if somebody got a spritzer or an RTD from tequila, unless it's from a named distillery, you don't know where it's from.
Yep.
Okay, you don't know what in that, but this is,
Yeah.
this is so.
Yeah.
Sorry, people for leaving, but
No, no worries. Yeah, I've actually had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and they were kind of explaining the cans to me, and they're like, "Yeah, you can get it anywhere and put whatever you want in it. There's not really rules to the can." And I was very disappointed because there's so many canned drinks or canned tequilas that are not really tequilas.
right,
They're calling
yeah.
them tequilas. Yeah.
But so this is Avila, but what happens is I don't have the outer box, but every box you get has four cans in it, right?
Yep.
Open the box. At the top of the box is a coaster, and every coaster will have this in it. It'll say where it's from,
Yep.
and it has a QR code,
Oh,
and we're
nice.
trying to educate everybody with it. So
Super
when they
smart.
get it, they go, "Oh wow, this is what's in this can.
Right.
It comes from this bottle here, or this bottle of liquid here."
I love it. I
Yeah.
love the transparency, and people could just find out exactly what it is and where it's from.
Yep. Yeah.
That's really
And
cool.
that's and then the high quality, and then
Yeah.
so then the quality of our agave spirit. I keep saying it's the best on the planet. So here it is, the best on the planet went into a can, and now I'm now going to tell everybody we make the best agave spirit spritzers on the planet. Yeah.
So is the cans released? Are they distributed yet? Or are they
They're released just in California,
okay?
just the last 3 weeks. We're
Oh
just,
wow.
just literally going to market right now with our distributor. So
Okay.
I think they're probably, I'm not sure, but I think they're in like maybe 30 stores right now. But just,
Yeah.
it's in the distribution mode.
Very cool.
And so we're super excited about them. And I'm getting all these reviews on them. And I can't wait to send you some so you can check them out.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so just proud about it. I mean, it's like and it was somebody from Diageo said to me, Micah, that's really a smart move to do what you're doing, because it's a way of being able to tell your story.
Yeah.
It's about educating and getting on the shelf and telling people what this is, especially at your level, nobody would think you would do something like that. And he goes,
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I like the fact that you're just leaning into it. You're not trying to hide into a tequila mezcal category. You're just like, no, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. This is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
And
awesome.
there's more Avilas coming, and there's people that are coming to me wanting to make Avilas. I've taken people down to Mexico and met our farmers and distillers, and all of those things, and we're working on it with the government on the DO process, and it just takes time. We keep doing it, and stuff. We have the trademarks, but in time, they will have the DO, the denomination of origin. So
nice.
Yeah, no, we're excited.
Well, we were into a story.
What was the story?
Before the palate. It was your origin story. You talked about your friend. You met him. You had all these things connected. You were throwing a party at your house with the Minnesota Vikings against Brett Favre.
Right.
And that's sort of how we got sidetracked with your pallets of stuff being delivered to your house.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, back to the story is, so basically what happened was, and then I met another guy, and I was in Minnesota, and this guy says, you got to meet my friend Hector Ruiz. He has a tequila. And I said, oh, okay. So I met him at a bar, not a bar, at his restaurant in Minneapolis. And what was really, really cool was that particular day and that moment where the friendship happened between Hector and I was I grew up in a little small town called Worthington, Minnesota. If anybody reference would be 60 miles east of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Okay. And I grew up in this little small town, and there was, I think it was 40, maybe 30, I don't know, African Americans there. And there's probably 20 Mexican families there, right?
Okay.
And so I got there at first grade, so I was 6 years old. And then 2 years later, this guy named Blas Gonzalez moves to my same block. And, I was like, wow, okay, there's me. I've never seen anybody that looked like you. You're a little lighter than I am. No, anyway, it was, but we became fast friends.
Yeah.
I mean, and to this day we're best friends. And
Cool.
stuff. So Blas was meeting me at that night, and I said, hey, would you mind coming to a meeting with me? And he goes, nah, I don't mind at all. I said, but I know that you're driving an hour to see me. And he goes, oh, Micah, don't worry about it. So we go to meet Hector at his restaurant, and Hector comes over, and we're sitting at the table. Blas and I are, I'm on the outside, he's on the inside. And then this guy named Eric that's introducing us is on the other side of the table. Hector comes over, and he looks at Blas, he looks at me, and then he speaks in Spanish, like, how do you know this guy? And then so Blas speaks Spanish back to him and says, well, we grew up in, there was a black family and a brown family or Mexican family in Worthington. And, we've been friends ever since. And then all of a sudden Hector turns and speaks in perfect English. Hey, how you doing? I looked at him like, oh, dude, anyway. And so that became and then, we talked, and then in 2 weeks, I was in Morelos, Mexico.
Wow.
With Blas. I brought Blas with me.
Yeah.
Why don't you be my interpreter? He said, yeah. He goes, I'm from Texas. I don't know. I've never been to Mexico. I said, really? He said, no. And then we were in, so then we flew to Mexico, and it was just he was like, my Spanish, he was like trying
Mm,
to keep up on it and stuff, and he was
yeah.
good. And and uh, and now you're getting ready to see Theo, my cat, who's here. Okay, come on, Theo. I'm on. Anyway, so so basically, I bring Bloss and myself down to Hector's family farm in Morelos,
Okay.
and we just sat there and we drank and we talked, and we ended up staying at Hector's house down there with his Don Raul, who is his grandfather and everything.
Mm,
And it was just the experience was great. We took us around to all these different farmers and distillers, and so I brought product back, you know, and kept, trying to figure it out. And I take it around to people and go, what do you think? What do you
mm,
think? And it was just like the music business. When you come out of the studio and you got a tape or
mm.
everything, and you go to somebody's car and you play the
Right.
tape, go,
Yeah.
dude, what do you think? What do you think? Yeah, oh, it needs a little bit more bass and needs this. Oh, this is great. So that's the only way I knew
Mm.
how to do anything.
Makes
Just
sense. Yeah.
asking a sheer
Yeah.
amount of people, and everybody's coming back. Where did you get this from? What is it? I said, and everybody's like, man, this is really good. And then I went to a couple. My friend Martina, she's a sommelier in Minneapolis, and I brought it to her. She goes, ooh, let me take it over to this guy and this guy and this guy. And now you got chefs, and Hector's a chef
Yeah.
in Minneapolis, and so everybody's just, when the chefs start saying that this stuff is amazing, where'd you get this from? It's so unique, and they're using all the. I'm like going, okay, I think it's okay. Just like if you
Yeah.
had a record, or a tape, go, is this? Do I need a little bit more cymbal in it, or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever? No cowbell. What's that story? Here's cowbell.
More cowbell.
The cowbell. And so that's how it started. Then I kept going down there back and forth, and then I started raising money from my grade school friends from Worthington, Minnesota.
Wow.
Again,
Yeah.
so I think my first 4 or 5 investors in this company are all from Worthington, Minnesota, that I met when I was 6 years old.
That's cool.
Yeah. So hey, write me a check. So what? 50 grand, man. Come on, you can do it.
Wow. It,
And
yeah.
so the really crazy part of this story, is where I kept going back and forth. I kept raising money. I kept writing business plans, and then I went to I'll say his name. His name is Joel Connor. I think he's retired now, but he had, I don't know if people remember Gino's Pizza Rolls, right?
Mm,
Especially at football
I
time.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he used to be married to Gina Palucci, or Gino Palucci is from Duluth, Minnesota. Here
Mm.
we go again, right? And so that's where Gino's Pizza Rolls are from.
Yeah.
And so I went to Joel and I said, hey, I got a business plan and all this other stuff, and he looks at it. And he says, what are you asking, Micah? I said, I need $2 million. He said, Joel goes, 2 million. I said, yeah. He goes, I said, you read my plan? He goes, there's a lot of it but he goes, how much have you raised so far? I said, right around 900,000. And he said, okay. He goes, but I'm trying to figure out how you're going to sell a tequila that you can't call tequila.
Mm,
And I says, what do you mean? And I did not have the answer. It
yeah.
didn't, I did not have the answer. And so then that was definitely the end of the meeting. It's like the stand up, like walk you out the door type of thing. Even though I've known the guy for 20 years, but it's like,
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
like, okay, Micah, time's up. And you don't have an answer. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And but basically, then I was in Mexico with Hector and Noe Avila. Okay, he's the master distiller behind all of it. And I was sitting there, we were drinking and talking, and I'm just going, Hector, now I'm pretty much afraid because I'm like going, God, I mean, that's a lot of money to try to give back to all my friends, and I'm that kind of guy that would work my ass off to pay up every penny, even though they were investors, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
I could, but I felt like I sold something wrong, and I just didn't follow through on the
Mm.
whole process of my plan. And so the basic thing after that, I'm down there and I go to Hector. I go, what are you? They tell me I can't call this tequila. It's not mezcal, and what do you guys call this? And
Yeah.
he goes, Distilio Agave. I said, that doesn't work. you know, that doesn't work.
Distilio
No,
agave.
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't. I said, okay. And then I was sitting there and I was talking to Noe and we just said, how do I say your last name? He says, Avila. And I said, Avila? He
Mm.
said, Avila. And I said, Avila? And he said, Avila. And I
Yeah.
said, Avila. And then boom, it came to my head right then that, I said, oh, okay. And then I had been reading about how Bacanara got their DO,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I went to town and I just called my partner and said, hey, here it is.
Wow.
Here's the home. It's going to be called Revel Avila, 100% Puro de Agave from the Morelos state of Mexico.
Wow.
Boom. Then come back, get the trademarks, and then start amplifying the message and getting the
Wow.
people of Morelos behind this whole project. And now I'm putting people to work, jobs, and this and that, and we're building, and the government is helping, I mean, and we're proving this whole Avila thing out, and we're bringing more products to the marketplace, and it is a real category. Yeah.
So you created this category.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't
I
want
mean,
to. Yeah, yeah.
right.
I
Yeah.
helped.
Right.
Yeah,
It was kind of always there, but you really put the name on it and
yeah.
yeah.
To elevate it, a
Right.
way. I've heard different reviews where it was just a marketing thing, and so, well, yeah. But the point is that these people are making an amazing juice, and how to get that story out. It's just not another tequila, and it's
Yeah.
not another mezcal. And we tell the story of these people, these farmers, and what they do. They can go on our website, look at all these different videos and all this stuff. And we're authentic and we're transparent,
Yeah.
and we're bringing this product to the market. And then once you taste it, it tastes so different than everybody else's.
Yeah.
There's a similar,
Yep.
but it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the aging processes, and we don't we use the word reposado because of familiarity to that
Yep.
whole thing.
Yeah.
But
It means
we're not,
rested. Yeah.
yeah, being
Right.
rested. Somebody says, "Oh, your reposado's aged 12 months." I say, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, that's an añejo." I said, "That's tequila's rules." You know?
I kind of love it. So where did the name Revel, where did that come from? Is that like Rebel? I feel like you guys are rebels, man. And you just, I don't know, like where's the name
Rebel.
Revel come from?
The name Rebel came from my business partner, not anymore, but a business partner named Jackie Thompson.
Hmm.
And she, woke up one day and called me like 6 o'clock in the morning. She said, I think I got it. I said, what? The name. And that's the name of what? It's the name of our, company, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh. And she goes, Revel. I
Hmm.
said, Revel? Like Rebel in it? And she goes, yeah. I go, oh, that sounds great, Revel. And then we start coming up with Revel Worldwide Spirits or
Hmm.
Revel this, and all the different
Yep.
combinations. And so that's, if you go back to my business plan, it was Revel Worldwide Spirits, but I talked about agave, but that's where Joel Connor, was like, okay, what is it though?
Yeah.
I didn't have, there was all this Revel stuff, but what is this stuff?
Yeah.
And I didn't have an answer. So then I came up with an answer. and here we are today, 10 years later or 8 years later, and we're building, and we're going to keep building, and marketing, and amplifying the story, and people finding out, it's wow, they help create a category
Yeah.
for the state of Morelos. So instead of saying, oh, it's just like a tequila or a mezcal, no, it's not like neither one of them. It is from Morelos. In order for it to be from Morelos, in order for it to be an Avila, it has to come from here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's other agave spirits that are Distilio agave
Yeah.
that
Right.
are up there,
Yeah.
and there are some other parts of Mexico that are not tequila region.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's cool that, I mean, you can call it a marketing thing or whatever, but it's a real thing that real people are making.
Right.
You got a name on it, and that's it. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing fake about it. It's not like it's a made up thing. I think it's cool, man. I think it's really cool that you've taken this and put a good name on it, and you're just promoting it, and you're very transparent and not trying to fake it in some
No.
way, shape, or form. I think it's really cool, man. I love it. I mean, I kind of knew the story, but I'm so cool that you're telling it directly from you,
Yeah.
and this process of how it all has been
Yeah.
planned out and how it's going right now.
Yeah. No, and it's been fun. It's been challenging. I mean, sometimes somebody says, why'd you get it? I says, well, a little bit of his ignorance was bliss. and once I was in and I committed other people's money,
Yeah.
I'm that person though.
Yep.
I'm about the mission and being able to complete it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so hell or high water, I go on my soapbox. We are going to make this work, and I've raised more money, and we've gotten it out there. We're in 11 states now, I think,
Mm.
11 or 12, and
Yep.
we're actually going back into Mexico starting
Okay.
in 3 or 4 months, and
Cool.
we're going to throw the greatest party in Morelos, and
Love that.
we found a guy named Christian Rubio, and
Mm.
Rubio is a mixologist. He has a restaurant in Cuernavaca, plus he works in um, Mexico City and in Miami. And so my national brand manager, Chris, and we were talking about, one day I was in a meeting in New York, and a guy he says, what's your signature cocktail for Revel? And Revel Avila. And I says, oh, we have the Revel smoked margarita, or something. And he goes, yeah. He goes, it's a margarita that belongs to tequila. What's Avila's?
Mm.
And I was like, oh, okay. He said, that Cuba Libres, that's rum.
Right.
What's and I'm going, okay. And then I was talking to him, and he goes, yeah, we should uh, make this drink. Make it called the Cuernavaca. And I said, that's brilliant. Cuernavaca, margarita, 4
Mm.
syllables. Okay, it's the capital of
Mm.
Morelos. It's the main
Mm.
city. And so we enlisted Christian Rubio to make the Cuernavaca, which
Wow.
is it's a really refreshing cocktail with agave nectar and Pshaw bitters and what's the other thing that's in it? Ginger beer,
Mm.
and stuff, and then Revel and
Cool.
our Blanco. Yeah, and it's a refreshing, really great cocktail, and we've got it on the menus at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. It's there,
Nice.
and it's on a few menus, and but it's also the point of doing the cocktail for its Morelos's cocktail.
Mm.
So and we created this drink that now when we start really working Morello's and, the restaurants down there, this is their own cocktail called the Corner Vodka that was made by
Super cool.
their native son, Christian Rubio.
Smart, man. I love how you meet all these people, you do all this homework. Because a lot of people, they just put it in their head, I'm going to do this and this is how we do it. And they don't ever change. But for you to say, oh, we do a smoked margarita, and you're open to saying, hey, how about doing it this way or this way? It's cool that you're flexible like that. I met a lot of business owners that are just, it's their way or no other way. You seem to be knowing what you're doing, but very open to other people's opinions, ideas.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I think in order to be a business owner and, a CEO and everything, I have, as much as I love to talk, as you could tell.
I love it, man. I love hearing your stories. Keep it
As much
coming.
as I love to talk and talk about, and I love what I'm doing. I mean, I absolutely.
I could tell when you got that delivery, you were like a kid on Christmas Day, man. You had a big smile on your face. You're running around your house, like
right. But then it was supposed to be somewhere else. I'm like, well, what is this? So, but the thing is to listen.
Yeah.
Is to listen, and to listen. I'm hearing and I'm learning, and I've learned how to surround myself with really, really smart people, and not everything they say is great, but at the same time, I'm listening and, and I'm like, weighing things out, and, we're still a limited resource company, so we can only do so much at a certain time and this and that, so I have to navigate that. I'm, right now building over $1 million in inventory, which is, it's stressful in its way. But then we're going to do a lot of advertising this year, consumer advertising. We've been doing all the trade and all of that. And we're using, distributors across the United States. We're with all the best distributors. They're like, they don't know whether to turn us down or they go, ooh, what do we do? Because I mean, Scott Simonton with Southern Glacier Wine and Spirits here. He's one of the executives here in California. And when we came to him, he said, goes, man, if you would have came in here, 4 years ago and said you got a whole new category of agave spirit, I would have laughed you right out the door.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. Mezcal just took off 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, and we kind of laughed them out of the door 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And he says, I can't do that again.
Yeah.
So he was like, so they kind of take us on and they just don't know. I mean, we're working our asses off. And they basically at that point are just a truck. We're doing all the work. We're the ones that's in the bars and all the whole bit. And it's been, pounding 2 or 3 years with them. And then now, over the last 7 months, last year, it's starting to turn. Their salespeople are starting to put us on the shelf.
Get it. Yeah.
Because we've made enough noise and we've got positive feedback. And then they've tasted and then they're going, oh, okay, I get it. Now they're able to explain the story because the world is changing and adapting to the words agave spirit.
Yep. Right.
Just like you have Arte Agave behind you. And that's the whole thing. It's not Arte Tequila, it's Arte Agave.
Yeah, and people asked us that in the beginning. Why didn't you just say like a tequila festival or tequila mezcal festival? And I was like, well, I always wanted to, because a friend of mine 10 years ago was like, no. There's Sotol, there's Bacanor, there's other things. And I had no clue what he was talking about. But then I talked to my marketing friend. He's like, let's just keep it as a category. Let's just keep it as a category instead of calling it blah, blah, blah tequila festival.
Right.
So that's something that we did and we learned. I was the same way as you. I was just taking other people's opinions. I love tequila. But then they're like, well, you're going to have mezcal. And other people were like, there's the Sotol and the Bacanora and all this stuff. So we kept it as more of a category event instead of just being a one thing. Which worked out for us.
That's what's so cool, I mean, and and people are going there's different articles that are, like one said, life beyond tequila,
Yeah.
or look at all these other Mexican spirits, and there,
Yeah.
there's also, some great Mexican rums, and
Yeah.
there's,
And whiskey's coming out now too.
whiskey's coming
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, it's like, and there's one, I can't think of the name of it, but there's a gin, and it's a beautiful bottle, and uh, it it's amazing.
Mm.
It's been from Jalisco.
Yeah.
It's like that's
So
wow.
you've been in the spirits business now for 8 or 9 years, you said.
Yes.
I know your background was music. You mentioned Dwight Yoakam and Bob Newhart, and I've read on you, and you've worked with a lot of big people. Tell me about that a little bit. I mean, is your background before? Are you still in the music industry?
I
How long
I'm,
you been
I'm
doing
not.
it? Yeah. Okay.
you
Yep.
know, this is all consuming.
Yeah.
So
I can imagine. Yeah.
I have no bandwidth to do anything else but this,
Yeah.
and I still have one client, but he doesn't work hardly anymore. His name is Bob Newhart.
Right.
And so if
Love
he
Bob Newhart.
decides if he decides to put on a show,
Yeah.
I have the bandwidth to go take care of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a legend right there. I mean,
I remember one day we were walking through the airport, and the guy comes up to me. He goes, "Can I shake your hand?" That's Bob Newhart. He'll shake his hand.
yeah. Right.
He goes, "No, I need to shake your hand." I says, "Okay." He goes, "Yeah, because now, I want to say that I met the custodian of an icon."
Mm.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
but he is iconic. He's amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, and the nicest guy in the world, and just everything super professional, and all. I mean, so I loved working with him. Cyndi Lauper, loved working with her, and uh, Debbie Harry, Blondie, the whole crew,
Yeah.
amazing people.
Jeez.
Yeah, and
How
Dwight.
did you get into the music industry, man? I mean, I don't really know a lot of.
Well, I have three siblings named Wayne, Greg, and Julian McFarlane, and the four of us. I was 23, or no, I was 24. My brother Wayne played in some local bands in Minneapolis, and he also another band in Madison. And he was coming home one day, and he goes, it's time for me to start my own band.
Mm.
And I said, yeah, I'll be your manager. I had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah.
How old were you guys again?
I was 23, 24.
Okay. Yeah.
And this was in 1983. So we started. So,
Oh.
and so the promoter and me, so I go, okay, I can start this band. How do I get them known? So what did I do? I made a festival called the First Midwest Reggae Sunsplash, and I got the biggest band in the Midwest called Shangoya and a bunch of these other little bands, and put on a festival at Concordia College, and on August 14, 1983. And that's where I introduced my own band, Ipso Facto.
Wow.
Okay. And then I, on the poster somewhere, it has all these bands. And then at the bottom, it says introducing Ipso Facto, and I was the promoter, and I talked the college into letting me do it on their baseball field. And, I had no idea what I was doing, but, and then that's started, and we started making tapes, and one of the coolest things that happened, like I said, oh man, this is easy. So about 5 months into that, I sent a tape over to this, it's called Jam Productions in Minneapolis, and I get a call that says, hey, Joe Strummer heard your tape, and would you guys want to open up for the Clash? And I said, hell yeah. And I didn't even ask how much money it was. They actually got we actually got paid that was our biggest payday. It was a whole $1,000. Yeah. And so we were at the St. Paul Civic Center in St. Paul, Minnesota, and we opened up for the Clash. And
Wow.
that started our because all these college kids were there,
Yeah.
and we start playing Mankato State and Fargo, and then
Jeez.
Grinnell College in Iowa City or Grinnell, Iowa, and then the Iowa City what was it, the place called the Crow's Nest, I think, is in Iowa City, and then Ames, Iowa, and then Madison, Wisconsin. They had the Rathskeller down
Yeah.
below or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were gotten that circuit, and
There was a lot of Rathskellers back in the day.
there is.
Mhm.
Okay, so
I was from upstate New York, and there was a Rathskeller. There was
Okay.
a basement one too. I don't know if it was owned by the
Yeah.
same people, but like it seemed like every college town had a Rathskeller.
the Rathskeller.
Yeah.
And then we just started playing a lot of colleges and bars, and and start making our way from Minnesota. It was easier to go east than it was to go west.
Mm.
So because the cities were closer together.
Right.
And so we were, and then it was easy to go from Iowa to Kansas City over to St. Louis, St. Louis back up to Chicago, and then Madison, Wisconsin, and back home. That would be a circuit, and so so that's and then we put out a couple records. We got signed to Epic Records in 1989. Our record on Epic never got released. We were signed, and then to this day, I don't know the reason why my band got dropped. Could it be that I just wasn't a good enough manager, or I don't know. I mean, and but our record never came out on Epic, and we put out like 4 or 5 records ourselves, on small labels and stuff. But our big label record never came out. So, but with that, after a while, we were doing really well. We opened up for the Clash. We toured with Tracy Chapman. We did the Red Red Wine tour with UB40. We played dates with the Kinks and Cheap Trick and all the stuff, and Chili Peppers and Boy Pondering. I can't remember. Anyway, we were out there, and then the 4 of us finally just decided to be brothers again instead of business partners. and
Probably smart move after a while.
It was, but for me and this business now, I really have to thank them. They gave me the opportunity to learn business, and be able to make mistakes without getting fired.
You can't fire you, right? They couldn't fire you.
I'm your little brother. You can't fire me. So I, when I get a chance to talk about them, I like to praise them, because I think without their letting me step on their backs to get to here, it wouldn't be possible. I love them so dearly, and then and one of the things that they were, a lot of people come back and go, God, that band was so ferocious. They were amazing. But, just for some reason, we couldn't transfer our live thing to the tape as well, So, there's
not an easy business. You're going from one not easy business to another not easy business.
Yeah. And then after that, I started, just out of necessity, I started, tour managing, and I ran a club for a while, and I did events. I went to South Africa and worked. Like right after apartheid, went down there and helped put a jazz festival together, and and I got involved in sound and lighting, and and building stages and all that stuff. It was all and I was a production manager for like Taste of Minnesota and Taste of Colorado, where you'd have 60, 70 bands and 5 or 6 stages, and you're putting all that together. And
Oof.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So just all these different things, and then touring. Michelle Branch, Lifehouse. I did a little bit with Prince. Actually, I never toured with Prince. I just helped do some stuff at Paisley Park, and stuff. And
Jeez.
um, what else? Cyndi Lauper, Blondie, Margaret Cho,
Hmm.
Michael McDonald, Dwight Yoakam.
Jeez.
I'm missing somebody in there,
Wow.
but
You just name dropped like 30 of the biggest names, in the
so
history, man. That's super cool. Well, it's easy to say you've been living a very exciting life.
it's if I fall over today, I'm okay. So, but this mission is the story is not done yet. I'm and and
I
I
think
don't
you're just
know
getting
whatever.
started, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Jeez.
it's fun. It's exciting. I've met some really, really great people. And one of the people, he's in another business, but I got to hang out with him once, and is Tito. Tito.
Hmm.
I get to hang out with him, and it's like how people are like. He's like the rock star in the alcohol business. You know?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And but what I love his story. He's, and just he's inspirational of what he's done. I mean, and yeah, I mean, he's like,
Yeah.
um, he's, I don't know. I think the guy's amazing, and just to be able to do what he does, and and to build something, and we sit and talk about it. And he just says, just keep at it, man. Just don't stop, because it will turn your way. The guy said, I see that. So
Yeah, no, he's definitely a guide. I mean, again, you're surrounding yourself with smart people who have done it, and taking their advice. And he's definitely, you said rock
oh
star of the
yeah,
alcohol business, man.
right.
He's showing that, everyone's always trying to buy that company. He's like, nah, I'm just gonna keep going, do my
Yeah, no,
thing.
he really he's just like, nah, I'm just gonna keep doing it, and
Yep.
it's Trevor's company, that's his son, and stuff, and
That's cool.
it's just really just amazing. He's inspirational. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Your business partners, you have your master distiller, and then Josh, or who's all part of who's the main crew?
Justin Hartley
Justin.
from
Right.
TV show This Is Us.
How did you link up with how'd you link up with him?
That's another crazy
Oh,
story.
geez.
I
We
think
have time.
it's like okay, really quick. Here's another one.
Give me
Okay,
the quick.
so my friend Kim, the same one that we were meeting at Loteria back then, we're both Minnesotans, right? So we're up at Liquid Farm. It was a winery up in Jeff Nelson's a winemaker. So we're up at his place, and then we go in Los Olivos, California, and there's all these wineries and all these tasting rooms and stuff. And so we're gonna go do the wine tasting, right? And
Yep.
go around all these places. There's like 6 or 7 of us in a group, and we're walking, and they walk into this wine room or tasting room, and my phone rings. And so I go, hold on, I'm not going to walk in there with my phone. And so everybody walks into there. I'm outside having a conversation. I finish up my conversation, and I walk into this tasting room. There's all these people in there, and I see this guy, and I walk over into it and said, "Hey, Conrad," I said, "Hey, man," I said, he goes, "Yeah," and I go, "Hey, it's really cool that you sent me that photo the other day that you were in Manhattan Beach, and this guy had a bottle of Revel at his house at a party you were at." And this guy goes, "Yeah, party at Manhattan Beach?" I said, "Yeah, we were at this dinner party not too long ago with Natalie from Boohoo and all these other people." And he goes, Natalie, boo. And I said, yeah, my friend Ray from CNBC. And all of a sudden he goes, Ray, yeah, Ray, And he just kept going on with me. And then I said, uh, uh, yeah, Chriselle was his wife at the time, said to me, he goes, how do you know him? I said, it's dinner party. And he goes, yeah, dinner party. He goes, okay, And I said, are you gonna be back in LA, anytime soon? He goes, yeah, next week. I said, I'll give you a call. And so I turn around and I walk over to Kim, and Kim and this whole group are watching me talk to this guy, which I thought was somebody else. And he, I go to her, I says, Kim, I just had the strangest conversation with Conrad. And she goes, Micah, Conrad's not here. And I turn around and with Justin still looking at me. He's still staring like, what hit him? Right? And he's looking at me and I look at him and she goes, that's Justin Hartley from This Is Us. Then I go, oh shit, he can see me mouthing it, and I just went like this, and I said, sorry. And I walk over to him. I said, dude, thank you for not being a jerk. I'm really apologetic. And he said, that was some funny shit, wasn't it? We just
dinner party in Manhattan Beach, that guy,
and we just started laughing. And then I said to him, hey, you drink agave spirits? He goes, I love agave spirits. Well, I own this company called Revel, and we make this stuff from Morello real quick. And he says, well, give me a card. Yeah, I'll get a hold of you. And I said, oh, I'm on a one-day vacation. I don't have a card. He says, let me see your phone. And he pitches in his phone number into my phone. And I said, that's a fake number. He said,
yeah, no, right.
And I said, okay. And so then I left him alone. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, I called him and I said, hey, or I texted him. I said, hey, I just want to let you know I'm a man of my word. Where do you want me to send this product to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he said, are you around tomorrow? I said, I'm in New York and I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Well, can we meet tomorrow night? I said, sure, but I have to get off the plane and go to my office and grab some product. He said, okay, let's meet here. And we met at a restaurant. And then we sat there for 3 hours. I'm telling the story and we're just drinking and the bartenders are letting us go. And, they're letting us, they created some cocktails and stuff like that. And it was just genuine. I mean, this guy is so cool. I mean, and we just started laughing and talking and, and even when we hang out, I just sit there and I look at him and he goes, there you go. You're going to start laughing again, right? I said, I don't know why you're so funny, and he's just an amazing human being. Yeah.
Wow.
He's fun. He's authentic. He really, like I told you in the beginning of these things right here, this is him and my general manager. They really, I had a little bit to do with the art direction on it, try to stay on brand, but the liquid inside is them. He is, he does our Monday. He does our when he's not on set all the time. He makes all our Monday morning meetings, and he goes through. They're an hour and 15 minutes long, and we go through everything all over the place. And he's on them. And he's making suggestions and all this stuff. And now that COVID seems to be getting under. We went down to Mexico and shot some stuff with him and everything. And we're gonna release a product of his that he curated called Unscripted. And people are gonna start hearing about that. And he worked with Juan Carlos, on getting the right flavors and the right, all the different barrels and plants and this, and then we put a bunch of liquid in. It's gonna be cool. Yeah. So
Wow, that is
yeah,
that's a really interesting story, man. You do have a lot of stories. Like that is.
that's what somebody else
I
said.
thought you were just gonna be like, well, his agent contacted me and we just
Oh no,
talked. Not some random wine tasting party where you just thought he was a different guy. Like that's
God, and that is the authenticity of what we're doing. That's
yeah,
it right there. I mean, that's I put we have put this together organically.
yeah.
I mean, I've knocked on 1,000,000 doors to raise money. And um, and I've got a lot of friends and a lot of people that really believe in what we're doing, and and all I can do is just work hard, and push and push and push and like I said, I'll go to the mountaintop and tell
Mm.
everybody that our farmers and distillers in Morelos state of Mexico make the best agave spirit on the planet.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, I don't want to take up much more of your time. I know you probably
There's
have more pallets, and
my
people are
niece.
coming down the stairs. Pallets are coming in. Cats are walking around in the back. Micah, I appreciate your time here, man, and thank you for telling your story. Real quickly, where can everybody find the product? Is it the website, Instagram? Can they purchase
So
it online?
if you go on our website, revelspirits.com, there's a page, and for people all over the place, Reserve Bar
Okay,
is that's who's hosting our online store, and then there's other ones that are out there. So that's the best way to do it is off our website. And then if you're in California, we're in California, Nevada, we're in Texas now,
cool.
we're in Minnesota, North Dakota, Massachusetts, New York, Maryland, DC. Am I missing one? I'm missing one. No, that's it right now. And then there's a bunch opening up. Oh, we're in Nashville now. We're in
All
Tennessee.
right.
Right. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So we're clawing. And so it's a movement, the Avila movement.
It's a
So
movement, a Avila movement, man. We're gonna end it on that. Micah, thanks again for
yeah.
sharing your story, and we appreciate you guys being part of Arte Agave
Oh,
and the
we love
event.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
It's a great event, and I'm just out here, working. So, but Walter, thank you too. Okay.
Well, we appreciate you, brother, and thanks for sharing your stories, man. And we'll see you at the Arte Agave events.
And I'll probably have another story for you there.
Dude, I'll be listening, man. I can't wait. All right, brother. Enjoy your day. Thank you, man, and thank you everybody for listening.
All right. Bye.